Nation, Dan here.
Cosmic Charlie here.
We're here on our next set of videos, and we're going to talk a little bit about tripods or mounts or forks or any other thing that you're going to put your telescope on. And we're going to go through two things here, and then we're going to swoop on over to my backyard, and we're going to see my Equatorial, my German Equatorial mount. And then we're going to come back inside, we're going to clean it up in here, and we're going to take a look at some stuff.
Alright, yeah, it's basically the next step, guys. So if you watched our first video, got a lot of likes and watches on that already. Thanks, guys. Definitely a lot of watches. We're just taking it to the next step. So we talked about, you know, telescope types and everything, you know, binoculars and everything in the last video. But so this is just basically the next step where we're going to go with it.
Yeah, so if you're ever going to purchase a telescope, telescopes are great. Mounts are where it's at. The stability of your image is really important because as you can see through telescopes of inferior cost, you get a lot of shakiness. You get a lot of, you know, moving back and forth and stuff like that. And it really interrupts your viewing when you don't have a stable image.
Yeah, it really does, guys. Whether for observing or astrophotography in general, I mean, yeah, you really don't want to cheap out on the mount at all. If anything, you're better off spending twice as much on a mount, a good stable mount, than you on the telescope. But yeah, what like Dan was talking about, you know, you're not going to get a real stable image. It's going to be shaking all over the place. You touch it once to focus it, or you know, move it, you're going to see it shaking like this, and you know. But so yeah, don't cheap it out on the mount. That's what Dan's really wants to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay when you're purchasing two of the telescopes like we're going to show you today. One is a manual alt-azimuth mount. Another one is a Goto alt-azimuth mount.
Correct.
And they're really not suited very well for long-term astrophotography. For short-term, you could do.
Yeah, I got some nice pictures, believe it or not, especially the Goto one, the second one that we're going to show you here, guys. But yeah, no, like Dan's talking about, don't cheap out on the mount, guys. You could spend thousands on the mount, and yeah, eventually you might even overpower that mount and have to buy another one. So
which I'm doing now.
Don't cheap out on the mount. I bought an Orion Atlas like Dan has because he hasn't recommended it to me for, you know, what I have and what I plan on getting eventually. But don't cheap out on the mount. They're not cheap, guys, but you get what you pay for this day and age.
Oh yeah.
All right, so we're gonna actually swoop over to another view, guys, on the camera. So we're gonna show you this next telescope we got here, or mount, I should say.
Okay. Okay, so here we have a Meade Infinity 102, which is on a manual alt-azimuth mount. This is very simple mount. It's all hand-driven. There's no computers. You point and you look. Pretty much that's all to it. So the first thing that I want to go over is the altitude rough alignment, which is this handle right here. And basically all you do is push down to go up, push up to go down, and that's how you do it. Very easy, very, you know, it's pretty tight, it's fairly stable for a visual standpoint. The next thing is the azimuth, which is your side to side motion, fast motion, and you do the same thing. You just loosen that knob. Let's get the knob out a little bit like that. That knob right there is your lock. And so the less you open it up, the more tension you're going to have. So right and left, up and down. Now once you're close, once you get it in the viewfinder, you want to point at the viewfinder? There's your viewfinder. That's a red dot finder. There's a little red dot in there that hopefully if you aligned it correctly, what you have the dot pointed on is what you see in your eyepiece.
Correct.
Okay? So now, once you got it there, now you got slow motion controls. Well, so you lock it all down.
Yeah, once you get it there, you lock it down.
Okay?
Make sure it didn't move. Check it again.
Now you can see on the camera now you got two other knobs with the Meade symbol on it. One is for altitude.
The altitude is right here.
And you can move it up and down very slowly there. You got
moving up.
Very precise.
I'm turning counterclockwise right now. You can see the tip of the scope going up.
Okay? And then you can move back down.
Clockwise, it's going to go down. This helps you track it, guys, in the sky. Once you like Dan said, you get everything good and close. You got what you want to watch in view. You lock it down with your lock nut here. That's, you know, and then you're going to use these slow motion fine control, you know, fine tuning knobs, basically.
Right. So, and there's your azimuth or east-west.
Correct.
Knobs that's going to move right to left. And that's all there is to this type of mount.
You can see it moves nice and slow, but you don't want to have fast motion when you're tracking a planet or tracking some stars in the sky. Or the sun,
well, with this
or
type
the
of
moon
mount
or
also,
anything like that.
with this type of mount also, you're not pointed toward the celestial pole, so it's a right, left, up, down motion.
Correct.
So the problem with this
Altitude and
is,
azimuth.
when you're trying to track something in the sky, you got to move both knobs.
Correct.
You got to move a little bit up or right or left, and you got to use both. It's a little bit.
I have noticed when I did, bought this, a few months back, actually, I should say, I did notice I got away with actually just using the right ascension or, azimuth knob, not altitude as much. If I just followed it with the other one, this one just going left and right, azimuth, it was able to track it okay. But then a little bit, I had to give it a little turn on the other one for altitude, and it would finally,
It'll stay in your field of view, like you said, with the azimuth.
For what this is, out in your backyard, out in the field somewhere, it's great.
And with the 102 also, you're talking about a wider field of view also. So
this is a great little refractor.
That's a 4-inch refractor.
Yeah, it's a great little refractor.
Yeah, not bad.
I bought it at Dan's shop.
It's not my shop, it's Jeff's shop's.
Well, he works there on Wednesdays,
So that's the Meade 102. You want to flip that over? No, just turn it. There you go. Turn it. There you go. And that's the Meade 102 Infinity. Retails for about $250.
Yeah. Great deal, guys.
Not bad for your first starter scope if you have.
Great, good. This is a good one. This is not, you're not going to buy this in a department store. Put it that way. Not most of the time.
Nah, you're not going to buy this at Kohl's.
But you're better off steering away from the cheap stuff. And this is a good starter one, guys. $250 comes with everything you see here, and a couple eyepieces. And you might get a couple dollars cheaper somewhere.
Yep, or more expensive depending on where you buy it.
But like I said before, guys, Dan works at Telescope Concepts and Camera Concepts and Telescope Solutions in Stony Brook.
Okay.
He's there on Wednesdays.
Most of Wednesdays. Jeff will tell you I'm never there.
All right. Let's pull the next one.
Okay, so the next one we're going to talk about is it's an Altair mount as well, but it's a Goto mount. Which means basically you got a computer, handheld computer, and says, okay, it's got 42,000?
Yeah, 42,000.
42,000 objects in a database, and you can say, okay, as long as your alignment's right, go to Altair, enter, boop, and it moves for you.
Stars right in view.
Right there.
Right
So again, your alignment, you do need to know 2 stars minimum.
Yeah.
You
could do a planetary alignment as well on Jupiter or something, but like Dan was saying, I would go minimum with the 2-star alignment.
And don't use
Auto
Polaris.
2-star.
Yeah, don't use Polaris.
Yeah, no. And the wider they are, apart in the sky, more east to west, you can get the 2 stars that you choose, the better your alignment's actually going to be.
Absolutely.
So like he said, if you punch it in beep, you want to go to Altair, it slews to the star, it'll basically put it in the eyepiece. You might have to, move it up or down, or left and right a little bit, altitude or azimuth.
It's not going to be 100% perfect.
But it will get in the eyepiece. It'll be in your eyepiece.
Absolutely.
If you did your 2-star alignment, close enough, it will definitely be in the eyepiece, guys. And 42,000, so you could say go to N10, punch it in, or N13,
There's actually a button on there that says Messier objects.
It'll go into, it'll say deep sky objects, and then
you scroll down to Messier.
It's got IC, Messier, NGC, it's all in there.
Yeah, different hand controllers have different. I didn't mean to cut you off. Different hand controllers have different options. So in the Celestrons, you got to go to deep sky and scroll down. And let's say for the Meades, it actually has Messier.
You can actually just hit M18, I believe, on some of them, but no, actually on this one you can't.
You can't, yeah.
On the SynScan you can.
The SynScan you can.
The one on our Orion Atlas, you can do that.
You can.
Even though I don't use the hand controller
anymore. I don't use it anymore either.
Okay, guys. So.
All right, so we're gonna move on to the Goto.
The Goto out there, the one we're talking about. We're gonna show you right now, guys.
All right. Okay, so now we got our Goto, our Altairs from Celestron. It's an SE line, and we're going to talk a little bit on. It's basically the same thing that we were just looking at, except it's computerized, and it has a hand controller. And you want to raise that up so the camera sees it up out of arm. There you go. Okay, so that's a hand controller, and we're going to talk about a little bit about how it works. So basically, you start by aligning your scope and saying, okay, you know what? Choose a 2-star alignment.
You go into align a menu. It's going to say press enter to begin alignment. You know, every brand's going to be a little different.
Yeah, just with the Celestron, in my experience, and for those of you out there, please comment us and let us know if you've got other experiences, because that's what we love to hear. Skyline.
Right.
Oh man. So many issues with it. You know, there's a lot of issues.
The next one, auto 2-star. I don't know.
Do a 2-star, an auto 2-star, or a manual 2-star. You need at least 2 stars.
I like the auto 2-star,
You'll
guys.
pick the brightest 2 stars in the sky, and you know.
You actually will know what the Celestron does is you choose the first one. Like I use Vega and Altair, believe it or not, all the time from where I am, because one's in the east, one's in the west, basically from my backyard, my view. You pick the first one, so I'll actually pick Vega, and then it'll actually slew to the. It'll ask you, it'll give you choices for the recommended next second star, and then you push. Once you push OK, I use Arcturus. Once you push OK, it'll actually slew to. It'll go to where it thinks it is in the sky. Gets pretty close. You just line it back up in with your, your viewfinder, your laser, and your. Controls, you get it centered again in the eyepiece, whatever you're using, or your camera view on your computer, your live view, and you hit OK, and then that's how you complete the 2-star line.
Yeah, I believe with the Celestrons, it's the only one that says enter and then align, right? To do the Yeah, so what you want to do is you want to get it in your viewfinder first, and then hit enter, then look in your eyepiece, get it in the center of the eyepiece, then hit align, right?
Correct.
And then it'll go to the next star.
Yeah, and then it'll give you an option, know.
Right. Yeah, because the Meade doesn't do that. So just to let everybody know, the Meade doesn't do that. It just says hit enter when it's in the eyepiece.
Right.
So so just to make the difference between the two.
Yeah, every brand's a little different, guys. But yeah, so that's basically this. So this is gonna move, guys. I'm gonna show a move actually.
Yep.
Hopefully you can see it in the camera over here.
You'll watch this knob right here. This knob will move up and down. Okay. And so this will track for you too. So
this one's pretty good. I mean, it's not as good as the Atlas by any means, but guys, for the $1,000 or whatever it was, I bought this when it was on sale. It came with my OTA, my Schmidt-Cassegrain telescope 8-inch 8SC, and it came with this mount.
Yeah, it's a great deal. You can't beat it.
You couldn't beat it.
It's going for $1,300.
Yeah, it's $1,299.
Yeah,
something like $11.99.
$11.99. Yeah. It was $200 off, right? Yeah, so it was $11.99.
$11.99 right now. But guys, you can't beat it. And get it to go left and right here. Watch again. Ready?
Yeah,
so now it's gonna watch.
You can watch a wire there for the power.
Yeah, you can see it moving.
This thing also, you could actually put batteries in here in the bottom base, which is right here.
Right here.
Okay?
Comes off.
And there's an auto guide port and an auxiliary port in there, so you can load it up with accessories.
Yeah, I use my Wi-Fi dongle in here, the Sky Portal dongle.
The Sky Portal works great. Works really, really good.
As you can see, guys, it moves pretty well. Pushing the arrows.
Just one point with the Sky Portal, and there's been a lot of this on Cloudy Nights. For those of you guys who don't know what Cloudy Nights is, it's a really great forum for information, man. Whatever you want, it's already on there.
Exactly. If not, ask it, guys.
Yeah, but the Celestron Sky Portal, if you're using the Sky Portal app, don't use a hand controller at the same time. Don't go back and forth between your phone or your iPad.
Once you do it on the iPad, stay on the iPad. If you do it on the handpad, stay on the handpad.
You'll have so many issues. You'll be like, why is it not going to the right
Or next remote, whatever you're doing, if you're using it on your computer.
Next remote.
Yeah.
Use just one
thing.
It will fight for control of your telescope.
So if you align it from your PC sitting outside, or your house, if you have that luxury, or an observatory, and you punch it in on your next remote, do the alignment in your house on that little app, you got to stay on next remote.
Yeah.
You don't want to go and then going over here, because this is going to ask you to start your alignment. If you went over to your hand control, it might say to begin alignment, press enter. So if you're going to do it on next remote, you got to stay on that and do your slewing and tell it to go to from the app or your PC or whatever you're using. If you do it on the hand control, you got to stay on the hand control.
I've actually heard reports also of people actually disconnecting their hand controller altogether.
We don't use a hand controller right now either. We use EQ Mod. Exactly, and Sequence Generator Pro. So we got rid of the hand controls altogether. EQ Mod takes place of the hand control.
We'll talk about that, and that's another monster altogether.
But guys, I mean, I really don't have much more. We're gonna slew the Dan's.
Well, right now, with the magic magic of Hollywood.
Exactly.
We're going to slew to my house. And we're back. We're in my patio. And I'm here with my trusty Atlas EG mount. This is a German Equatorial mount. What that actually means and how it's different from your single fork mount like the Celestron SE or the manual Altair that we showed you earlier is that this is more suited for astrophotography because you're able to point this at the North Celestial Pole, and you can do that by making sure that your altitude, this goes back and forth. I don't want to move it for you, but this goes back and forth with the usage of these two knobs here to make it your latitude. So you can point this at the North Celestial Pole, and what that's called is polar alignment. And we'll go over that in another video. But this is set for 40 degrees, and you got a couple of clutches here. You got your right ascension clutch here, which basically moves the telescope this way. And then you got your declination knob up here, which turns the telescope this way. Okay? A couple of things that you need to know about equatorial mounts is, number one, it needs to be weighted. There are gears in here, and some of the gears aren't made very well. So with this one, it's made pretty well, but some of the less expensive models have nylon teeth gears, which can break if you have too much weight or put any undue stress on the gears. This one has aluminum, or I believe on here, or stainless steel probably, on the gears. So you got gears here, in there, that move it when it's all Goto, and you got gears in here, which move the telescope this way. So it's very, very important to weight your telescope correctly when you're using a German Equatorial mount. And the way you do that is, and I love this, I love that in the Atlas, it's the retractable counterweight shaft. You got to put weights on here. So you want the same amount of weights here that you do here. So whatever you have on top of your telescope, your cameras, your off-axis guiders, whatever the case you may have on here, whatever weight you have, you want the telescope to be like this. So when I touch it, it doesn't really move that much. Okay? Number one, when you test this and you release that clamp, please hold on to your telescope. Don't just unloosen the clamp, because what's going to happen is this, and then your telescope's going to go smashing. So please protect your equipment. Make sure that when you loosen this up, just hold it. Make sure it doesn't go anywhere. Okay? Same thing with this side. Okay? So how you do the weighting is you need a counterweight. You're going to put the counterweight on here, and you should test this as you go. Once you know your own mount and you set up, you'll be fine. So you weight it this way first, and I'll point this way so I can show you the weight. Okay? So you really want, when it's all said and done, the same amount of weight on this side that you do on this side. So telescope and focuser and camera and whatever on this side. So if you have too much weight at the telescope side and you want less weight on there, you're going to slide this down because you want more weight on this side. So slide that down a little bit. Okay, I'm not, this is going to kind of go down because now I'm really overweighted on that. Okay, if you want the telescope, you want more weight towards the telescope side, you just slide it up. That kind of stuff. Know your weight requirement for your mount. This is a 40-pound maximum payload mount, which means it can hold up to 40 pounds worth of equipment. That's the first thing. You don't want to overweight the mount. You'll lose your tracking, you'll break your gears, whatever the case may be. So that is that way. The next way is you want the telescope weighted this way. So pretend my arm is the telescope. Okay? If you have more weight on this side and you have less weight on this side, you're going to want to push the telescope up a little bit. You could loosen the rings a little, push them up on the rings, or you could use it with the dovetail. The dovetail is a little plate underneath the telescope that slides in here. And you just move the telescope back and forth until you get it so the telescope, whether you hit one side or the other, it kind of stays and slows down in its own way, and it doesn't swing crazy. So again, remember, when you do this and you loosen this clamp up, please hold your telescope. Protect your telescope, because your telescope will go like that, and you will smash your optic, or you'll smash your eyepiece or your camera, and you won't be a happy camper. Okay? So, that is your basic weighting, counterweighting, and equatorial mount. If you want to know more about my setup, the video link will be lower on the page, on the Facebook page, and if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see it come across. So that's that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go flying back to Charlie's house, and we're going to wrap this thing up. Thanks a lot. And we're back. We're back in Charlie's basement again.
All right, we're back.
And we're back with the magic of Hollywood. We're back, and we materialized back in our little studio here.
So you were just looking at Dan's Equatorial mount, German Equatorial mount.
Yep.
He's Orion Atlas in his backyard, guys. And I'm Cosmic Charlie.
And I'm Declination Dan.
Guys, yeah, I just want to say, if you have any questions, comments, you know, like, subscribe, guys. If you have any questions at all, just post them down here, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. But yeah, like I said, this is basically what you're going to get and what you're going to need as far as the mount. The Atlas that we just showed you guys, yeah, that's both of our mounts right now. That's the better one, but yeah, those are like $1,500 at least. You know,
I mean, you could go all the way up to thousands and thousands of dollars.
$3,000-$4,000 eventually.
10, 12,
yeah.
15,
but,
yeah,
but
30,000
for
for
$1,500, this Atlas,
yeah,
as I'm finding out, is a great sturdy mount, guys. The other one that, you know, we showed you prior, my Goto mount, you know, that came with my Schmidt-Cassegrain 8SE telescope. Even that thing blew around a lot.
Especially when you were trying to focus.
Oh my God! At the beach, that thing was blowing around like you wouldn't believe, guys.
I mean, we'll show you a video, and we'll put a link to the video of. Did you saw the raw footage of that night of Saturn?
Yeah, and I got that nice decent picture.
So you could see what we were dealing with, and then you know, for those of you that do astrophotography already, know exactly what I'm talking about.
Big difference, but yeah, that'll be in other videos, guys. Like I said again, I'm Cosmic Charlie
and Declination Dan.
Thanks for watching, guys.
And remember, keep shooting,
keep educating,
keep having fun, guys.